Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the original Loretta Brown Show, radio to open the heart, heal the soul, awaken the consciousness. Good morning, Mr. Benny Mathers. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and good morning to all of our lovely listeners out there.
Yeah. You got anything special going on today? It's like it's the end of the month, isn't it?
It is.
Today the last day. I think today's last day of July. August is coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing too crazy. We actually went to the river yesterday and had a good time outdoors. You know, it's still pretty warm here in the Pacific Northwest, which is definitely a good thing. It is the end of the month, so mind all of the listeners, don't be speeding, because I'm sure there's extra law enforcement out so they can fulfill their quotas for today. I've always wondered that. I've always wondered that. I don't know. I feel like people are gonna be seeing more law enforcement.
Yeah. No, well, that's a good reminder, and I totally agree with you. I think it's true.
Sure.
You know, the other thing I want to bring up, like, I don't know, maybe you have a comment on it. I've got a lot of clients who are talking about when they're driving, they think that the drivers have gotten crazier. I think driving faster, bipping in and out maybe that's just that person's personal experience. But
yeah, I think there might be a higher level of frustration, possibly. You know, it's because we're doing a lot of traffic, I guess, construction here in the Seattle area, and I think we're getting kind of burned out from it. We want it finished, those projects. So I still think it's kind of weighing on a little people's minds, but it'll be done. Don't worry, it'll be done.
Yeah, be patient. Be patient. Mm-hmm. And then I have to give a shout out to Hawaii and the coastal lines and the tsunami that thank goodness it wasn't what people were expecting.
Well, what you would see in the movies.
Yeah.
I know, right?
You know, yeah. But there was concern about it. My daughter lives on the Big Island, and I had people ask about it. And they do pay attention to those warnings, because in 1961, just a little piece of information, there was a 9.5 earthquake in Chile that sent a wave that moved 400 to 500 miles an hour across to Hawaii.
Wow.
And at that time, Hilo had 61-foot waves.
Dang.
Yeah, they have memorials to it. It's big. They mark where the water was. So I heard all kinds of things. Like, people are like, well, yeah, I survived. That was like a big fat nothing burger. And I go, well, thank goodness. And it could have been bad. So anyway, there it is. So I'm glad everybody's safe.
Yes.
And the worst part apparently was, the fact that the roads were so bad because everybody was trying to get to high ground.
Right.
And
but at least it's in place, or those evacuations are or in place, or starting to become in place, especially even around here. It can happen at your too.
Right. So stay safe, everybody.
That's right.
And have some sandwiches put away. You never know when you might need them.
Some sandwiches.
So, sandwiches.
Just specifically sandwiches.
Sandwiches. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm Loretta Brown. I'm the owner of Reiki Oasis, located right here in the greater Seattle area. You can find out more about me at ReikiOasis.com. Yes, I am taking people to Egypt. Yes, it is coming up September 30 through October 14, with an extension to Jordan to the 19th. I could possibly squeeze in one or two more people, and I have to tell you, this is going to be a really special trip. I'm excited. Good group of people. And if you want to come, send an email to reikioasis@gmail.com and ask me about it. I'll send you the information. And then I'm going to jump right into my astrology report today, because wow, there is a lot going on. Welcome to Retrograde City, in case you hadn't figured it out. Earlier this month, Saturn and Uranus and Mercury went retrograde. And then this week, 2 days ago, Chiron went retrograde. Chiron, the wounded healer, stationed retrograde in fiery Aries. And it's going to be there until January 2nd of 2026. Now, Chiron's story is one of hope that hits close to home for a lot of people. So picture this. Chiron started life abandoned, feeling unloved and lost, kicked to the side. Does anybody relate to that already? But through that pain, He transformed into a wise healer, a teacher, and a seer with deep psychic gifts. And that's the essence of Chiron. It's about the wounds that we carry into this life, maybe even from past lives, and how they shape us into something extraordinary. And there's an understanding in the world of healing that the healing comes out of the disease. The medicine is on the inside of it. And so it's alchemy. It's kind of a bigger thing to talk about, but do think about that. What wounds are you carrying? How might they become your strengths? With Chiron moving retrograde, it's like the universe is hitting pause on our healing hustle, inviting us to simply be with where we are. No forcing, no rushing, just total acceptance of our scars. In Aries, the bold pioneer, these wounds can turn us into warriors, not the armored, guarded kind of warrior, but think about a warrior of wisdom, standing tall with a gentle strength, knowing that our pain served its purpose. This retrograde might stir old memories, maybe from earlier in this life, maybe the wounds, memories, or fears within you that might be from a past life, urging us to look at them with fresh eyes. Sometimes people from your past appear again. It's not about sitting still or dwelling in the past. Aries fiery energy pushes us forward, reminding us the healing path is a march toward light, not a loop of the past. So over the next 6 months, let Chiron guide you to unearth deeper layers. What gifts might your wounds unlock? And maybe it's compassion, resilience, or a new calling, or maybe even your intuitive gifts coming online. Chiron says they're waiting if you're brave enough to embrace them. I have never had so many people sort of coming out of the woodwork and coming to see me going, Loretta, I think I'm done with working this sort of a job, and I want to do something more heartfelt. I want to help in some way. And I am as a good, I'm always telling people, try not to watch too much news, or if you find yourself going down a dark hole, begin to focus on the life that you really want to help create, because we are here to help each other. Also, a couple of days ago, Venus nesting with love in Cancer. So Venus is the planet of love and beauty that has to do with finances also. And its movement into Cancer is such a cozy, heartwarming shift. It's inviting us to turn our attention to the softer side of life. Think redecorating your sacred space with colors that soothe your soul, or create a home altar that feels like a hug, or go hug people that you love, right? It's a perfect time to align your environment with your inner peace, as within, so without, and add a candle or a crystal or a picture or something that's meaningful to you. It's not just about your four walls. Venus in Cancer urges you to surround yourself with people who lift your spirit, and reach out to those dear ones. Tell them how much they mean to you. A heartfelt call or a shared meal can weave deeper connections. Let love flow like a gentle river, washing away isolation and filling your heart with warmth. A lot of people tell me they're feeling isolated or lonely. One of the best things you can do is get out of your house. Go see somebody, go take a walk, spend time out there with people. Today, July 31st, we have one of my favorite alignments, a Cazimi. Yay, I love the Cazimis. I just love the word Cazimi. And this happens to be a Mercury Cazimi. It's a day of cosmic clarity. And what is a Cazimi? It's when the sun conjuncts Mercury, or the planet is close to the sun. There's a conjunction with the sun. And the sun acts like a spotlight on the message of that planet that it is creating a Cazimi with. It's like shining a spotlight. So right now it's shining on Mercury. And it's happening as Mercury is doing its retrograde dance. What is it we need to take a look at? Expect insights to bubble up. Maybe old conversations or unresolved issues resurface, asking for closure. It's a golden opportunity to listen closely to what the universe is revealing. Jot down your thoughts, trust your intuition, pay attention to your dreams, and see how these revelations might guide your next steps. And then August, just very briefly, we're going to be riding the cosmic waves in August. We got big energies, and the energies are gearing up for big changes, especially with the eclipse season on the horizon. The first week of August offers subtle hints of what's to come, with themes growing louder as we approach the Virgo new moon later in August, the August 23rd. Which is a gateway into the eclipse season, which I mentioned before, the blood moon eclipse season. There will be a blood moon eclipse on September 7th, which is next month. So pay attention to where you're being guided. And then also, we are already in the Lion's Gate. It already began, I think it began on the 26th of July. It peaks on August 8th. Make sure you mark that date on your calendar. That's a sacred alignment with Sirius, our spiritual sun, and Orion's belt, which lines up with the pyramids of Egypt. Yeah, it opens a portal. More on that later. Sirius rising after weeks hidden by the sun's light symbolizes rebirth, flooding us with divine feminine wisdom to heal old wounds, especially those tied to the inner child or the cosmic mother line. You might feel ungrounded, racing thoughts, heart fluttering, or even dizziness as your body adjusts to the high frequency codes. It's like a cosmic upgrade, rewiring your DNA and expanding your heart to become your new root chakra. Yes, the heart becoming the new root chakra. What if you built your life? What if our planet was built upon love instead of fear? So for light workers, this is a call to stand tall and ground the energies as the veils thin and synchronicities abound. And then later in August, August 22nd, we have another stargate when the sun aligns with Regulus, the royal heart star of the lion, a star of prosperity and courage. And so soak in the vibrations. There's powerful energies afoot, as they say. And boy, we're right in the middle of it. So this month, the cosmos is inviting us to heal, to connect, to rise, to become a participant in what's going on in a positive way. But with Chiron as your sacred mirror, you may be looking at your woundedness with Venus in Cancer, your warm-heartedness, your warm hearth, and the August portal supercharging your launch pad. Be sure to listen to the subtle messages. Trust your inner wisdom, your inner warrior, and let the stars guide you to wholeness. As the veil thins, you are the portal. Your body is the temple being renovated with divine light. So feel it, flow with it, and know you're part of a greater awakening. We are in such great times, and it's exciting, and sometimes it's scary, and I don't know, just be with it, and help each other. So with that, with the focus on Hawaii this week and the tsunamis and the earth changes, I thought it would be really good to bring back a show with Jonathan Hammond, author of The Shaman's Mind, Huna Wisdom to Change Your Life. Jonathan is based in Maui, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Benny Mathers to help bring him in. Here's my guest, Jonathan Hammond. I adore Jonathan Hammond. He is a real thing. He's a shamanic practitioner, an energy healer, a spiritual counselor, bringing ancient earth wisdom to our modern world. Jonathan teaches at renowned institutions like the Omega Institute, the Shift Network, Penn State University. He shares expertise in so many things, honestly. Shamanism, Huna, Reiki. He's ordained as an interfaith minister in 2008. He's completed 4 years of inner spiritual training. He holds certifications in Cherokee Bodywork, Huna with Aloha International, and core curriculum with the Foundation of Shamanic Studies. He's a master teacher in Shamanic, Usui, and Karuna Reiki, and ordained Alaka'i in the Kahili Hawaiian Shamanic tradition, and is trained in Wicca and psychedelic facilitation. Before his holistic path, I love your bio, Jonathan. Jonathan was an award-winning Broadway and TV actor. His book, by the way, you should get it right now. I love his book, The Shaman's Mind, Huna Wisdom to Change Your Life. And he has an audio course, The Shaman Within, which offers all kinds of amazing tools for practical growth. And he's based in Maui. And I'm going to stop talking and let the man come on the show. Jonathan, is such a joy and delight to have you here. Welcome.
Aloha, Loretta, and everyone. It's so great to be here. Thank you. Thank
you said aloha, and I felt it come into the room. Aloha. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm living it. Yeah.
Well, I've had Jonathan on my show before, but it's been a few years, and you can always go back in the archives and pull that out. But Jonathan, tell us just briefly how you got into what you're doing and anything from that, just very briefly, right?
I was as a child, I was a real mimic, and my parents thought actor, and they were actually kind of liberal enough to actually allow me to do that. And so I did that for many years. And what I found was I wasn't really a fame-driven actor. It was more about the artistry and actually the channeling and the empathic attunement with the character. And I was also needing a lot of healing. And so while in that other life, I was also very much on the healing path. And at a certain point, I wanted a bigger reach, and I wanted to dive into the healing work and the spiritual work full time. And a lot of those skills, the empathic attunement, that's what I'm doing with a client. I'm attuning to what kind of person would say that, just like an actor looks at a script and says, what kind of person would say that? And get into that person from the inside. It's very much the same thing. And so it was that, and it was also that, when you think of artistry, it's about channeling, it's about bringing something through, and you learn the lines and the blocking as an actor, and you hope for inspiration to come through, and that's what I'm doing all the time. So it was a very simple change. It was many years ago now, but that's sort of where it began. Yeah.
I love what you said, because I have a very dear friend who does some interesting types of channeling. And he told me years ago, he says, Loretta, you have the gift of audience. And I thought, the gift of audience, because I've been in front of people since I was 3, right? And I thought, what does that mean? And he says, if there's an audience, you're on. And so, Jonathan, maybe.
I love it.
Right?
And also clairaudience, clear hearing, clear knowing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What are you most excited about right now on planet Earth?
I think that, I think we all have to recognize that we are here for a reason at this time. We've incarnated at this time. I don't really know how anyone is traversing this time without a knowledge of the prophecies and the indigenous prophecies. There are so many of them. They all speak about this time. And by this time, I mean what the social scientists would call like the Great Acceleration, like 1950s to now. And, the Kali Yuga, which was this very depressing age, according to the Hindus, a very dark time. The shortest Yuga, a Yuga being a period of human existence, that just ended this past spring equinox. Yes. And that was a time marked by the opposite of righteousness, the opposite of the Dharma, and we are now entering into the Satya Yuga. We are now in it, and Satya means truth, which means that we are moving toward harmony and truth. And the Hopi have a prophecy about this time, about the rainbow prophecy. All these people, rainbow being different colors of skin, that they would all come together from the 4 corners of the globe and usher in this new consciousness, which you talked about before I got on. There are just a bunch of them, and they help us really understand that we are at our most polarized because we are at the end of an era, and but the next 2,000 years are moving toward unity, are moving toward harmony, are moving toward, and so all of the, as a healer, that when it's time to heal, we have to bring up all the darkness, and all that's coming up, and those of us of the light. We are just being pushed toward more light. The darkness doesn't overtake us. We just it just gives us a direction. It's a directive force. So I'm excited about where we're going, and that there are so many people who are waking up to that there's another way. There's that dark thing that's happening, but then there are all of us who are disidentified from it and creating the new earth. Yeah.
This polarization, I want to pull that apart just a little bit. And also the prophecies. Yeah, absolutely. All the prophecies. It doesn't matter what you look at. This is it.
Mhm.
This is the tipping point, right?
Yeah, even the Mayan prophecy of 2012, you've heard of that. That was supposed to be the world was going to end. Well, it did end. In that, what the Mayans were getting at was that in 2012, two Earths would form, and they weren't. Obviously, that was a metaphor. The idea being that the consciousness on Earth would become so split that there would be kind of a new Earth that we have to seed and tend to and cultivate and create, and this old Earth that was dying. And so, and the Mayan prophecy also talks about that it was the end of a 26,000 year cycle of evolution among certain humans, a lot of humans, that was that would prepare them and make them ready to be the light bearers to bring in this new way of being. So polarization. Even Jung talked about that the Piscean age, the last 2,000 years, was marked by polarity. The battle between good and evil, a battle that we would lose, and that the Aquarian age would be where those polarities come together in subtlety and in nuance and in harmony. And so we see, and again, that just happened a couple of Decembers ago. So we are at our most polarized just because we're beginning something new. And lucky us, we are born at a time when we all have to deal with it. And we all have to do our part and recognize what we're in and not let it overtake us and not believe the stories that are being told to us about what reality is. I sort of heard this from the earth very recently. She kind of told me through me that things like racism, things like homophobia, misogyny, crazy greed, those are dead. Those are dead things. The earth at one point, I think the earth birthed humans to grow her consciousness. I think that I think the Gaia likes to make things spicy, and I think she and I think as her consciousness grew, I think she needed humans to kind of give her a shadow, give her a being that could go against nature, technology, all that stuff. And I think that the idea that those energies now, they're no longer relevant. That was the message from her. It's like we did that. It's like the consciousness of the earth doesn't need it anymore. We've gone beyond that. That's why when we watch that stuff and we go, are we still doing that? Are we still doing that? It's because that's the earth speaking through us and saying they're not needed anymore. Those are dead things. And that's what we're moving past. And so when you see someone who's perpetuating that, they're holding a dead thing in their heart, something that the earth no longer needs, which means that they are going against the energies of their home, the host of their life. And you keep doing that and you're going to get rejected and you're going to be left behind. And so we have to recognize that this new consciousness, the stuff that we don't need anymore, we don't need. We've gone through it, we've worked it out, and those things are dead.
Oh, I love what you're saying, and I love how you're saying it. When we had that last eclipse, of course, and then we also had Neptune move into Aries at 0 point Aries. We're at the beginning of the beginning of the beginning, and having that in fire, Aries, right, and now we're in Earth, right. To me, those the elements are very important. And I'm just pulling out a few things because I just want you to keep talking. The fact that the earth told you, and this you put something into words right now that I'm always trying to figure out how to say it. Like, what is it that's going on? Because it feels like it's in the depths of me or in the heart of me. And like you say, these things that are dead that no longer we don't have any use for. Like even I sometimes go, I thought we were past that. Aren't we past that? Like I can't, and even my trying to attend to it, I can't hardly even connect to it. It's like, oh, yeah.
I think we have to recognize that we're more, each individually, we come from the earth. We are nature beings. We are animals. We are made of the same stuff as the earth. And just as we have a consciousness, naive to think that we come out of something, that we birth out of something that also doesn't have a consciousness. Even if you think of the geological history of the Earth, the first 4 billion years was not a cute time. It was not a place that was Earth was not a place that was conducive to life. But over time and evolution, it became that, and it became a place that grows things and grows life. And that means that as we evolve, just as we evolve, the Earth has been evolving too, and growing its consciousness and becoming aware of itself. And the more that we grow consciousness, the more that we grow towards unity consciousness, unitive consciousness. And so the Earth is really pushing us toward that. So when you hear that thing inside of you, that it's very deep, it's very simple. Usually, it usually doesn't even have a lot of emotion to it. It's the sense of, this feels right, or this doesn't feel right. This feels true, or this doesn't feel true. That felt sense, that is nature itself. What is everything in nature doing? Feels right, want to go in that direction, want to open myself to the rain, want to open myself to the sun. Feels wrong, I feel like there might be a predator close. So that felt sense is embedded within us too. What the Native Americans call the original instructions, our intuitive, instinctual sense toward life that everything in nature is following. So when we have that feeling, that this isn't right anymore, this isn't relevant. It's not, and that's the Earth speaking to us. So we all have the Earth is always speaking through us. We just are often acculturated to not listen to that deep instinctual sense if it goes against the culture.
Well, and I'm also I'm also hearing in what you're saying the connection to the Earth or the disconnection.
That's right.
And so many people are disconnected.
Yeah. Separation from nature, which began about 11,000 years ago and got really sped up about 2,000 years ago. Separation from nature, human supremacy over nature, nature as a storehouse of resources for us. That was the biggest mistake that we've made in our psychology, in our consciousness, in our understanding of ourselves. The first chapter of Genesis, probably the most consequential thing ever written about nature, which says dominion over the earth, that the fish and the plants and the animals are here for you, supreme human. And what that did is that separated us from our home, and that separated us from the very thing that sustains us. And that separation has led to the separation with each other, because we are no longer in indigenous mind. Everything is alive and sentient and interconnected and interdependent, and everything relies on everything else. And when we got away from that mind and into this separate mind, we started. First of all, we demonized the feminine by pulling away from that, and of course all the fun that ensues with that culturally. And then we started separating from each other. And this us and them stuff, which is the nature of polarity, which what we've been talking about, the polarized us and them, good, bad, black, white, Democrat, Republican, all of that is seeded in our separation from the natural world. Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry, that's just going so deep in me, Jonathan. Like it's just flowing. I so agree with you. This separate mind, I like how you said that our mind is separated, which also excuse my voice, which also puts us into this idea that nothing has consciousness. Animals don't have consciousness. The earth doesn't have that's just a rock, that's just a tree. And I'm the one in dominion, and I'm the one, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that is so messed up.
Yeah, even
wow.
Before shamanism, there was something called animism, which wasn't a practice, it was a way of seeing the world. And in animism, everything in the natural world, even in seemingly inanimate things, have a personhood. That is indigenous mind. Brother bear, sister mountain, grandfather fire. so that everything is alive with a personhood, with a sentience, with an agency. Everything in nature is moving toward an end, and I don't mean a death end, but a purpose. Everything is purpose driven. If you think about the interconnection in nature and how it relates to us, when they reintroduced the wolves in Yellowstone Park, the rivers regenerated.
Yeah.
When the huge patches of algae on the ocean that generate half of the Earth's oxygen, those algae are born of dolphin excrement, which means that every other breath we take is born of dolphin poop. We are that connected. We are that connected. It is that interdependent, and to not recognize that is suicide. Real suicide. Yeah.
That also fits into what you were saying earlier about exiting the Kali Yuga and the Satya Yuga, and also the age of Aquarius, the age of unity. Honestly, we have to work together, and like you said, realizing that, that what goes on over there affects me. The mountains, the trees, the earth, the air. That we are an intrinsic part of some sort of a system, and it's not just us. We can't just keep doing that, right?
Yeah. And that's what I feel is ending. I feel like the separate mind, the us and them mind, that is what we're moving past. Even if you think of, anyone who is this word gets thrown around a lot, but maybe it's because it's appropriate, because there are a lot of them. But when you think of a narcissist is someone who holds in their shadow their own self-loathing and self-hatred. And anyone who holds deep self-loathing and self-hatred covertly are organizing their own demise, their own downfall. So when you see a narcissist perpetuating cruelty, rather than the reactivity and them getting your heart and them getting your emotion and them getting your fear, or rather than that, if you can separate yourself from that, look at it and say, I'm watching someone curate their own downfall, because that's where that has to go. And that is where that's going. Because anyone who is perpetuating what we run through as you said earlier before I got on, whatever we're running through our system is what we dish out to the world. And so when you're dishing out cruelty and hatred, you are running that through your system. And self-hatred leads to your own demise. You don't have to be a psychologist to understand that. You can feel that to be true. But the important thing is to hold a mirror to them, not engage, but hold a mirror to them. That's why Dracula couldn't look at a mirror. Well, he hated looking at himself. That's the same thing. So if you can separate from that and recognize that's happening over there, but I am creating a life that I prefer. That is when they talk about 5D consciousness, fifth dimensional consciousness in spiritual circles, what they're getting at is that 3D thing, that's separate. 3D means polarity, good, bad, black, white. The 3D consciousness is happening over there. I'm doing 5D, which means I'm outside of it. I see it happening. I understand why it's there. I will listen to Loretta's show about the prophecies, so I understand why it's happening. And I'm creating the life that I prefer, and the earth that I prefer, and the life that I prefer, and the world that I prefer. And that's fifth dimensional consciousness. It's not really a big highfalutin idea. It's just about where am I focusing.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I actually had a conversation with some people yesterday, and we were all kind of saying the same thing that you just said, which is, because a lot of people are talking with me about the fact that they feel a little disoriented sometimes, like right now, almost like, what world am I in? Where's my foot? Is it over there, or is it over here? Or it's this sort of this stretchy idea, right?
Yeah, don't let anyone tell you what the world is, just because there are people with an agenda that mainly has to do with money. Don't take that in. Don't take that. That is just that's just something working itself out. And the Kali Yuga is a period based on ignorance. There's a lot of I think a lot of people didn't know what they were getting, and I think and so it's just a matter of recognizing that what you see is not the world. There are much more of us who are sane, who grasp toward life, who grasp toward faith, who want to keep going. I think it's important to recognize that there are so many of us, and that when you take any action, have any thought even that is in the direction of that which is life affirming, you are co-creating with this huge thing that's happening right now.
Oh, I like that. Life affirming. Absolutely. Life affirming. That's the direction. Yeah, that's it. We're going to take a little station break. I am loving this interview with Jonathan Hammond. Jonathan, you just make me so happy. The energy from you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyway, Jonathan is amazing. He's written a great book, The Shaman's Mind, Huna Wisdom to Change Your Life. And you can actually buy it during the break. I'm just saying. And you can go to his website already and check him out, Jonathan Hammond. Says Loretta Brown. We'll be right back. I'll clear up my throat during the break.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways. Engineers are answering the call to create solutions that decrease our dependence on fossil fuels, taking lessons from the best engineer out there, nature. Engineers are creating cleaner, safer, and reliable energy. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
Energy is powerful. It's all around us, mysterious, full of potential. Directing positive healing energy to raise your vibrational rate through Reiki can change your life. Reiki master Loretta Brown has relieved stress, sadness, anger, and even helped clients lose weight, stop smoking, and end sleep disorders. Worldwide, people have sought out Reiki Oasis. If you want help with your dis-ease, visit ReikiOasis.com. Harness life's energy. Visit ReikiOasis.com today.
Do you have something important to say? Want to help improve our world? Need to promote your business uniquely and effectively? KKNW is the answer. Our staff helps broadcasters and podcasters create professional sounding audio. Bring your talent and let our experts help you craft a radio show or podcast that best delivers your message. Learn more at 1150kknw.com. That's 1150kknw.com. KKNW. Variety talk radio that's live and local.
Want to hear something different from talk radio? Keep your dial on Alternative Talk 1150.
Hooked on a feeling, high on believing that you're in love with me. It's all sweet as candy, the taste stays on my mind.
Woohoo. Welcome back to the original Loretta Brown Show with my amazing guest, Jonathan Hammond. He's a shamanic practitioner, an energy healer, a spiritual counselor. He's got a lot going on and a lot of wisdom to share with you. Just a reminder that these shows are archived. You can download them for free at the KKNW 1150 AM archives for the original Loretta Brown Show. And of course, we're everywhere. We're on iTunes, Spotify, X, Megaphone. We're live on YouTube right now in case you want to run over there and get on. And the links for that are, I always post everything. And I always forget, there's, like I said, there's all kinds of stuff, and go check it out. One of my clients said, Loretta, I've Googled your name and you're everywhere. I go, I know. That's what happens. Google just loves us. So we are having a fantastic conversation. Jonathan, I want to ask you, you are a shaman. What is shamanism?
Well, I don't use that word. That word has a lot of cultural.
Yes.
So it's not a word that I use. People call me that, but I'm certainly a healer, and I'm certainly a healer that heals through the lens of nature. So in shamanism, we worship nature. The natural world is a template to teach us how to be. So what you see in the natural world is interconnection, interdependence, grasping toward life. And so in shamanism, the healing for humans is about that we are holding something in us that is unnatural, or we have lost something in us that is part of our nature that we've sent away. So in shamanic healing, we're really doing two things. We're bringing back what is lost, or we're removing what shouldn't be there. Because everything in nature is only unapologetically a spontaneous expression of exactly what it is. And it has no desire to be something other than what it is. But we humans, because of a culture that we connect to and assimilate to, we can try to become and be something that we're not, and that's what makes us ill, and that's what makes us that's what makes us depressed. That's what gives us addictions, all of those things. And so, in nature, everything is just a spontaneous, unapologetic expression of what it is, and that's the return to that is the work that I do. So with humans, so the shamanic work is about getting everyone to be more like that, a spontaneous expression of exactly what you are.
I love that. You brought up some emotional content in there. You know, there's a lot of anger, darkness, stuff like this. Is there a way that you can utilize those things in spiritual work?
Well, I think it's so important that we do, because if you think of anything that's coming up spontaneously, anything that's coming up that is telling you something, that is directive. So in Hawaii, it's in ancient Hawaii, the day begins not at sunrise, but at sunset. And so it is out of the darkness that manifest existence emerges. So that's a metaphor, but the same applies for our darkness. So oftentimes with clients, they say, "Oh, I hate my job, Jonathan." I say, "Oh, good, hate it. Feel that." Because even in hating it, you are already in the process of recognizing a truth about yourself. You don't know what to do about it. You don't know how to pay for it. You don't know where you're going. But that feeling, that felt sense of this doesn't feel right, again, back to nature, and it's making me angry. And if you think of the culture, I think there are three things that we are all indoctrinated to do: cope, people please, and suffer. All three of those, and they're all overrated. They're all overrated. And they are not necessary. They are not necessary. Yes, there is coping and suffering in nature, but nothing in nature stays in that as longer than it needs to. And so your darker colors, they're pointing towards something. It's not just about acting them out. It's about what is going on. Why is this coming up? Even something as unattractive as jealousy is saying, "I want what that guy has." That's directional. That's nature. That's saying something. When we separate ourselves from the person who has what we want, we're separating ourselves from the very energy of what we want, as opposed to bless that person, attune to that person, connect with that. What is that person? How does that person see themselves? What do they think about life? What do they think about themselves? What do they put in their mouth? How do they treat their family? How do they treat their friends? Because they have what I want. I don't want to separate myself from that. I want to emulate it. I want to emulate it from inside, and then my creative gene, my version of that will emerge. My genius will emerge. My version of that. So it's really about desire. A message from the gods. A desire is a message from the gods, and desire even to escape suffering. That is a message from the gods. That is a deep instinctual part of us that if we follow, we get back into what everything in nature is doing, which is flowing toward life, toward growth, toward evolution.
So many people come to me and they're like, I'm having this trouble, or I'm really angry about this, or I'm frustrated. I won't look at that. I can't look at that. I just want to go over here with the butterflies and the fairies. And I'm like, what you just said to me is the real path. So stepping into the shadow, stepping into that darkness, stepping into your feelings. And this idea that the day begins at sunset. I mean, like I said, I just did this big workshop on Saturday about the betrayal, death, resurrection, the whole Easter thing from a slightly different perspective. But this idea that when we go into that and then we allow the external events, I could say, to trigger us, to activate us, and to step into that and through that, that is powerful work.
Yeah, my book. My book is very love and light. It's Hawaii. It's very upper world. It's a very upper world book, and that's part of it. That's a part of it.
Yes.
That's a part of it because the spirits, the creative energies, they really do shine on us. But it's kind of like we have to recognize the self that we're manifesting on behalf of. What is that self? And what is that? We all want to manifest things, but on behalf of who? And I think the who comes from my inner animation and my inner sense of what I don't like. And so we have to do that work first. So there's an idea in earth-based wisdom, earth-based healing called down to go up. So we go down into ourselves, down into the emotions, down into the feelings, down into the gut, down into the actual authentic truth. And in that, the spirits come to us because the spirits meet us when we are pursuing authenticity. So the spirits don't co-create dysfunctional realities. That's why that thing over there that we can't believe is going on feels so godless, because it is. Because the spirits are not part of it. The spirits help us and co-create with us and shine on us when we are pursuing our authenticity, our purpose. That's why they hang around. That's what they're here for. So who is that self? What is my purpose? That's the deep work. That's the deep work, and it's an important work. Otherwise, it's just reaching up to something before we've figured out what it is that we're reaching toward.
Well, and I'm also sensitive to the fact that there's many ways to describe the Kali Yuga. One of my little statements is that it was a time of great darkness in which structures were built. I'm going to say external structures to try to maintain a certain semblance of something, like maybe as we lost connection with our inner guidance or something. But as we come out of that into the Satya Yoga, we are dismantling these external structures, and our internal structure is beginning to grow again. I could say it that way, maybe. I want you to comment on that, because that to me is sort of the emergence of the true authentic self at some level, right?
Yeah, I mean, the book that I'm writing right now is about the human culture versus nature. Not to be too psychological, but Freud identified an aspect of the psyche which is really important to know that we all have, because we are in that Western psychological model, which he called the superego. And the superego is the part of us that assimilates with the culture, that assimilates with the status quo. That's what it's there for. It was developed so that we wouldn't be abandoned, so that we would get love, so we would feel into what's needed. But it has become the governing force of the culture, which means that we all have these overly developed aspect of the psyche that assimilates with something outside of us that is not us. Indigenous mind doesn't have this thing. Indigenous mind is about what's your nature first, And so that aspect of the psyche that emulates and assimilates with the culture and with dogma, with religious dogma, with money as the peak importance, all of that. And so it's very important to recognize what truth am I holding, and is it mine? What rules am I following, and are they mine? And that is the work to do, because everything in nature is first and foremost advocating on behalf of itself. And then from that, it is naturally interconnected with everything else. But nature is very self-interested first, and very honoring of its own truth first. And then at the same time, it receives what it needs to do that, and also gives the gift to everything through its existence. That we're breathing the plants right now, and thank goodness for their self-interest, because they provide us with what we're breathing right now. But so that's really important that we and the architects of reality, the architects of the culture, they make no mistake, they have been at indoctrinating us into a hierarchical system where we send our spirit and our love and our money and our attention up to them, and we're so in it that we don't even see it. And when we recognize that we do not have to participate, and that's what this is about. That's why we've gotten to the point at this polarized time that the prophecies talk about, where we're looking at billionaires, because it is about just the very, very, very few, and it's all been set up that way. And it's a mind hack. It's a mind hack on all of us. We don't have to do it anymore. When we're aware of it, we don't have to do it anymore. I'm not participating with those rules.
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm going to call myself the rebel goddess from now on.
Love it.
Yeah, we don't have to participate. I just am so glad you're on the show. This is exactly what people need to hear. So for those people who, because I run into a lot of people show up at my doorstep when they've managed to sort of open the lid of the box and they see what's out there, and then they get scared and maybe they jump back in, but they're sort of looking out, and they're in and they're out and they're in and they're out. Because like you said, this idea that if I go against this quote belief or this way of societal structure, I will not be safe or I will not be okay. What kind of advice can you give people? Is there some sort of a wisdom or some sort of a practice you can give them?
Well, a couple things. Remember that the new thing that there's less traction there. There's less to hold on to. It's about creating. It's about creating it. We're supposed to be, all my clients right now, they're in a very creative phase where they're creating something new. So you might not know what the alternative is. There is this mass exodus from that thing, but you might not know what the alternative is. So there's something that I write about and I talk about a lot called the danger zone. And the danger zone is that space between the old way that doesn't work and the new way which is not yet formed. And it's dangerous because that's where we bail. That's where we bail on ourselves. That's where the fear overtakes us. That's where the narrative of who's going to pay for it. How am I going to sustain myself? What am I going to do about health insurance? Oh, I mean, that one, that one.
Yes,
really, and make no mistake, that's nefarious. That's about the culture saying, oh, you need us. Stay with us. You need us. We'll take care of you for just enough, but we'll take care of you until we won't. But, but that's and so when we can recognize that in that in-between state, that's where we have to recognize that we are in a process of change. And no, the new way is not yet here, but we have to breathe and we have to take it moment by moment and day by day and step by step. When you think of magic or manifestation, that's almost always, it's never abracadabra. It's a process. It's desire plus visualization plus focus and attention plus action plus asking plus keeping your eyes open for the signs and the help, and then over time, the thing comes into being. We don't allow ourselves to be in a process. And that part of us that is this part of the psyche that assimilates with the culture hates process, because the culture is polarized, good, bad, black, white. It's not about process. So it's very important that we recognize that we love ourselves through that. And that we do enlist people who say, I see that for you. I see that happening for you. And we avoid the influences that say that's crazy. That's not going to happen. Who's going to pay for it? And that's really the work to do. And again, that part of the psyche that assimilates with the other can really take us down. But when we're in the danger zone, if we can recognize we're in a process and keep focusing on that, that'll get us there.
I had this lovely imagery when you were talking of, and I think this is probably part of my life mission. I've always kind of seen this of people down there in that danger zone, and it's kind of dark, and then people are crawling out, and they're the light. They're like, reach down and grab them out, right? Because as we're coming out of there, this also to me is where community is so important, or the age of Aquarius, where and you so incredibly described it earlier. To me, this is about us becoming very aware of our gifts, our uniqueness. Who are we? The Aquarians kind of run to a beat of a different drummer, but then also recognizing community. And I recognize your gifts, and I need you in here, and I need those people over here, and those people over there, and stepping away from that stereotypical concept of we've got to climb the ladder and feed the three people at the top of the pyramid, right? Yeah.
In Earth Wisdom, we would say that sacredness is imminent on Earth, meaning that if it exists, it is sacred. If it exists, it serves some sort of purpose. There's only one Earth, and we are each individual cells or even atoms serving this one entity, this one body. That's a theory called the Gaia theory, which is that the Earth behaves like a body, like a unitive entity. And we are all individual little parts that serve that, which means that we're here for a reason, and that reason is toward life. And so that's why when you follow your inner animation, even if your inner animation says "get away from me" or "I hate this," that's still your inner animation. You are in flow with that one entity of which you are an inextricable part.
Yeah. Jonathan, you have some things coming up. Tell us what you're offering and about your website, where people can find you, and you're out there. Yeah.
I'm out there. Yeah. I have a course coming up. I think it actually starts Saturday. The Shaman's Mind, Ancient Shamanic Wisdom to Change Your Life. That's through a company called Glidewing Online Courses. That starts on Saturday. That's for 3 weeks, 2 sessions per week, recorded. I'll be at the Omega Institute in June 10th through the 13th, in a new course called Rewild Your Mind. So that's what I have going on. I have a full, robust practice and do work online all the time, and spiritual counseling and healing online. I'm staying busy. So or come to Maui and say hello.
Yeah, come to Maui and say hello. I think I need to come over. I got to visit my daughter anyway, right? We could come over. That'd be great. What is your website?
JonathanHammond.com or mindbodyspiritmaui.com. Or if you put in just Jonathan Shaman Maui, you'll find me.
Yeah. I love it. So we're kind of down to, what have we got, like 2 minutes or something. I would like you to just sort of, when you think about the changes in the world and everything that we're going through, I'm going to ask you for a message for the people, some sort of wisdom at the end, maybe a key message from your book, something to share with the listeners to help lift them and live a more connected life.
Imagine your highest potential, your best life, make it twice as good, and you're in the ballpark.
Wow. Thank you so much. And I just want you to just send the aloha out to all of us, because I energetically can feel it. And you have a lovely picture of your turtle in the background, and to your spirit animal, right? Yeah. And I love that so much.
Yeah. And the turtle is representative of the earth. It's Earth Wisdom, Mother Earth. And if you remember that she loves us. She loves us. She gives us everything. She asks for almost nothing in return, except that we take care of each other and her. And sometimes we can't even do that. And I think that if we can awaken to the idea that to live on her, and which is the energy of turtle, is about care. It's about real care.
I'm going to invite everybody to go outside today. Put your feet on our beautiful mother. Love her. I take a walk every day. I have this whole line of trees. They all have names. There's a lot of them. They all introduce themselves. They're like, hi, 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 hi. Where you been? What's going on? Right. And they have, some of them have funny names like Charlie. Right. So love our beautiful earth. Get close to it. We can bring ourselves back in. Jonathan Hammond, thank you. What a delight and a joy to have you on my show today. Thanks,
Aloha,
everybody.
aloha.
Yeah, aloha. Enjoy the week. Betty Mathers, you're the best.